What is going on, guys? We are back with the talent tree videos. If you didn't check out my last video, make sure to go check that out on the Druid talent trees for 10.0. As I've stated in that video, Blizzard just randomly out of the blue, like they always do, dropped a massive piece of content. And this piece of content is actually the Death Knight and Druid, but the Death Knight Dragonflight talent tree preview. And this specifically for all of the specializations, Unholy, Frost, and Blood. In this video, I'm going to kind of just go through, give you my first initial reactions to things, my first impressions, what I think is good, what I think is bad. They do go through, if it's similar to the Druid one, yep, they go through literally every Unholy talent, Frost, Blood, and the basic talents, as well as baseline abilities. They go through all of these, and this article will be in the description below, so if you want to go check that out, make sure you go do that. But I'm basically just going to give you my first impressions on everything, and, you know, see where it goes. So this is just what the talent trees are going to look like if you haven't seen one from the Dragonflight announcement, or from the Druid video, or on your own searching through Wowhead. This is what the talent trees are going to look like. They look different for every single specialization, as you can see. There's like a cool effect and everything like that. But this is the Unholy one. As I've said, these are work in progress. The alpha is not even up, so things are obviously going to change. AMZ is now a talent. It's not baseline. Icebound Fortitude looks like it's a talent. Improved Icebound Fortitude probably is down here somewhere. A-Bomb Limb, that's always a cool thing. It's not even a pick or other, and it is in the Death Knight base tree, which is also really interesting. So every single Death Knight spec can now get a A-Bomb Limb, which is cool, right? Like, that was one of the best Covenant abilities in the entire expansion. Not in terms of, like, damage or utility or anything like that, but it was just fun to play with, right? Like, every Death Knight loved it, right? And that's always a good thing. So A-Bomb Limb, good thing. We got to make sure that all of these Covenant abilities that are actually good stay in the talent tree rework. Like we saw in the Druid one, there was a whole bunch of them there. Let's specifically Unholy, you know, we got Dark Transformation. I think this is Army of the Dead. We have Gargoyle and Unholy Frenzy. So I honestly don't play Unholy a lot, but it is just looking like a pretty basic talent tree. Oh no, this is Army of the Dead here. I don't know what this is. I think this is the one where you make like skeletal archers. So your Unholy guys are like ranged. That's cool, right? Get the talent into all of those. But from what we've learned is a lot of these are just like passives. So the circles are passives. These are abilities. The squares are abilities. Whereas the hexagons, octagons, the octagons are like a choose, right? You get to choose one or the other. If we go to the Blood one, when we sit in the Blood one, I'll give more of an impression on the Blood one because I am a tank player. So I do know what a lot of those abilities actually are compared to the Unholy Death Knight one. But overall, like, it's looking pretty good. I'm glad to see A-Bomb Limb here. Soul Reaper is also here, which is good. Like, that is a good execute ability. But yeah, let's continue on. Frost Death Knight. All right, what do we see? As we see, A-Bomb Limb and all these are generally going to be the same. In the Death Knight tree, they will all be the same. Not really going to have to go through those. But the Frost tree, let's take a look, right? So we have Breath of Sindragosa. Okay, like that's good. That is now a talent, right? And then we have Frostworm's Fury, which is a really cool ability, massive ability you got talent into. Pillar of Frost, Obliterate, Howling Blast. This is interesting, right? Because you're clearly going down into paths, right? So if you're going into Obliterate, you're doing more of like your base melee damage. Looks like it's going to be doing more damage. Whereas if you go down this path with Howling Blast, it looks like it's a lot more of like your passives and your AoE damage, right? Where this is more of like a single target focused path when you go down this way here. What are these abilities here? Can't really tell what those abilities are, but it's interesting that Breath of Sindragosa is a talent. I feel like, especially in like Mythic Plus and AoE situations, you're going to be going down into the Breath of Sindragosa. I don't know enough about Frost Death Knight to know if, you would go down single target here. And even if you'd want to go into Frostworm's Fury, if that's even a good ability or a talent, right? Like it all, also a lot of this depends on tuning for a lot of these abilities, but overall it looks good. There's no massive outliers here. No, nothing like the, you know, Resto Druids getting interrupt or Boomkins getting interrupt. It does look like you have to talent into interrupt here. I think that is going to be core for every single spec. Yep, like even Unholy, you have to talent and interrupt, which is interesting because they're forcing you to take Chains of Ice. I don't actually like that because as a Death Knight player, I rarely use Chains of Ice. Like, I know it's a good ability for slowing mobs and stuff, but Chains of Ice just seems like a waste of, you know, a rune, right? But they're forcing you to play Chains of Ice if you want an interrupt. So maybe there's a lot of stuff where you're just not even going into getting your interrupt, right? And then you'd have to talent into IBF. That's so interesting. They're forcing you to take Chains of Ice, which is, in my opinion, a useless ability, to get these really good abilities here. Interesting. Let's go to Blood. Let's take a look. Everything over here generally looks the same. Pretty good. So you have Blood Drinker or Consumption. Choosing here, you will basically never... Well, actually, you might want to go into there. Just like these abilities here are like a waste, in my opinion. Like, unless they're tuned up, you're just never going into there. We have Mark for Blood and Tombstone. As we know, with the most current season, Tombstone's actually really good because you have so much Bone Shield stacks from Infinite Dancing Rune Weapon, right? Tombstone's really, really good. That's a good choice. That comes off Vampiric Blood, so which is good. And then we have, I think this is Bloodworms and Vicious? I believe so. Rune Tap is going to be a talent. Marrow Rend. Interesting. So when you're leveling, you're going to have to either spec into Blood Boil or Marrow Rend before you move on. So obviously both of these are core to the Death Knight's kit. So you're going to be required to have both of these. But it's interesting that they're forcing you to pick one of them early on. Let's go down here. So Bone Storm, final talent down here. Hopefully this gets tuned a little bit better to make it worthwhile instead of going down the path here into like Purg and probably improved Dancing Rune Weapon. Maybe this is going to be the tier set effect where like Heart Strike increases the duration. That'd be really, really cool. I can check that out down below, and just, you know, if it isn't that, then you're not going to hear about it. But if it is, I'll mention it in the video. But overall, like, it's looking pretty good. It's not as cool as the Druid one, surprisingly. But, you know, the coolest thing is everyone's getting A-Bomb Limb, which is great. And then just like your overall basic talents and abilities, right? Like you have to talent into Gorfine's Grasp now as a Death Knight, which is like okay. There might be some fights, right? Like there might be some fights in a raid, right, where you don't need Gorfine's Grasp, so you're talenting down into like a Bone Storm, right? Or there might be fights where you don't need you need Gorfine's Grasp, right? So now you have to talent down into Gorfine's Grasp, right? Like that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Interesting. Rune Strike. So that's just like a basic strike. Like now you don't have like Frost Strike or like, yeah, like everyone just has a basic Rune Strike. Okay. This cannot be dodged, blocked, or parried. Interesting. Okay. Everlasting Bond. Yeah, okay, so it is the tier set. It's just instead of it being Heart Strike, additionally, each rune spent increases its duration by 0.5 seconds. Okay, so that's going to really combo good with, like, Rune Tap, right? Because you're going to be able to get more runes back and increase the duration of your Dancing Rune Weapon. That's also really, really good. Yeah. Overall, like, it's looking like it's pretty good. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, check out my other channel for all my other content. Let me know down in the comment section if I missed anything crucially important. These are just my first impressions of it. I don't really want to do like a deep dive because no one wants to sit here and listen to me talk about Death Knight talents for 30 minutes, right? So yeah, if you did enjoy, leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.